जय गिरिवरधारे जय गिरिवरधारे यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन जमुनतीरावनचारि वनचारि जय राधा माधव जय कुञ्ज बिहारी जय राधा माधव जय कुञ्ज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Louder. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Privarakacharya Sutasara. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Privarakacharya Sutasara. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Radhanath ki jai. Shriman Mahaprabhu ki jai. Shri Giri Raj Govardhana ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So today we'll be reading from Krishna book. And try to explain here and there. There's actually 28 paragraphs, so it's quite long. But we won't read the whole thing. We'll just read here and there and explain. So we'll start off with some prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhescha Kripasindhubhevacha Patitanam Pavinebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So thank you Chaitanya for playing the drum. The Mirdanga, it was very nice. You feel inspired when devotees like Chaitanya attempt to play the Mirdanga. So let's read. The chapter is chapter 70, titled Lord Krishna's Daily Activities. From the Vedic mantras, we learn that the Supreme Personality of Godhead has nothing to do. Natasya karanam cha vidyate. But the Supreme Lord has nothing to do, how can we speak of the activities of the Supreme Lord? From the previous chapter, it is clearly it is clear that no one can act the way Lord Krishna does. We should clearly note this fact. The activities of the Lord should be followed, but they cannot be imitated. For example, Krishna's ideal life as a householder can be followed. But if one wants to imitate Krishna by expanding into many forms, that is not possible. We should always remember, therefore, that Lord Krishna, although playing the part of a human being, simultaneously maintains the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We can follow Lord Krishna's dealings with his wives as an ordinary human being, but his dealings with more than 16,000 wives at one time cannot be imitated. The conclusion is that to become an ideal householder, we should follow in the footsteps of Lord Krishna as he displayed his activities, but we cannot imitate him at any stage of our lives. So we see here that Prabhupada is saying that we should follow Lord Krishna's example, but we should not imitate him. So yes, Krishna is very great, and we are very, very minute. Right? Krishna is Vibhu, and we are Anu. So there's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna says, Mayam tatam idam sarvam jagat avikchena murchina matstani sarvabhutani nachaham teshu avvisataha. That's by me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded, right? And all beings are in me, but I'm not in them. So we see that, Krishna, he pervades everything. And then in another verse in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that by me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me. So it's the same verse. 10:32, he says, Vistabhyam idam Krishnam ekyam shena sito jagat. By a single fragment of myself, I pervade this entire universe. Right? So Krishna in his unmanifested form, he pervades this entire universe. Right? And that means in his impersonal aspect, that is. So Krishna has three features. Has Bhagavan feature, which is his form, his Paramatma feature within the heart, and his Brahman feature, where he pervades everything, pervades this entire universe. Right? And as the super soul within the heart, the Paramatma also, he's in everyone's heart. So yes, Krishna, Prabhupada says here that we cannot imitate Krishna by having 16,108 wives. We cannot do that, right? Because we don't have the potency to do that. As I said, we are Anu, we are very, very small, minute. But Krishna can do. If Krishna can reside in the hearts of all living entities, right? So why can't he have 16,108 wives? So the way one worships Krishna is, he reciprocates in that way. So Krishna says, that basically I reciprocate with my devotees in whichever form they love me in. So in that form, I reciprocate with them. So, if one wants to be Krishna's husband, then Krishna can just jump out of the heart and he can be your husband, right? So in this way, Krishna can do like this, but we cannot do that. But Krishna is basically, as I said, he's very, very great, and this is Krishna's greatness, right? People normally say God is great, yes, but they don't know how great God is. And you ask them, how great is God? They cannot say, but we can say, because we got this knowledge from scripture given to us by Srila Prabhupada, right? And Prabhupada has given us everything. So all we need to do is just imbibe this knowledge and preach it, give it out, like this. So, so we'll speak more about Krishna's impersonal aspect later on. But for now, we'll go on to the next paragraph. Krishna says, or it says that Lord Krishna used to lie down with his 16,000 wives, but he would also rise from bed very early in the morning, 3 hours before sunrise. By nature's arrangement, the crowing of the cocks warns of the Brahma Muhurta hour. There is no need of alarm clocks. As soon as the cock crows, early in the morning, it is understood that it is time to rise from bed. Hearing that sound, Krishna would get up from bed. But his rising early was not very much to the liking of his wives. The wives of Krishna were so much attached to him that they would lie in bed embracing him. As soon as the cocks crowed, Krishna's wives would be very sorry and would immediately condemn the crowing. So we see here that because these devotees, the wives of Krishna, they loved him so dearly. So, when he would rise from bed, they wouldn't like that, right? So, and Krishna expanded himself 16,108 times to be with each of his wives simultaneously in 16,108 palaces, right? So we can't do that, can we? Looking after one wife is too much, right? Let alone, 10 wives, 20 wives, 16,000? Impossible, right, for one man. Yes, our former president, he has quite a few wives, but, he cannot be with each of them simultaneously, right? And he has, on his compound or in his area, he has different houses for different wives as well. But, he cannot come close to Krishna. So people in this world, they imitate the Lord in this way, right? But they cannot come close to him. So we should take this knowledge from the scriptures and understand what is our position in relation to Krishna. So let's just continue reading. Next page. So, Krishna smelling and eating and hearing are the same. Am I reading right, please? We limited living entities have to use a particular part of our body for a particular purpose. There is no such distinction of Krishna. In the Brahma Samhita it is said, Angani yasya sakala indriya vrittimanti. Krishna can perform the activities of the limbs of one limb with any other limb. So by analytical study of Krishna and his person, it is concluded that he is the complete whole. When he meditates, therefore, he meditates on himself. Self-meditation by ordinary men designated in Sanskrit is so aham, is simply imitation. Krishna may meditate on himself because he is a complete whole, but we cannot imitate him and meditate on ourselves, right? Because what the use of meditating on ourselves, right? Our bodies are composed of so many obnoxious things, right? What's the use of meditating on ourselves, right? It's temporary, this form is temporary and it's going to be annihilated at some stage. But Krishna, he has no one else to meditate on but himself, right? So he would meditate upon himself like this, and in this way we should learn from Krishna to rise early for Mangalarti, right? And engage in our practices of devotional service. So there are many practices in devotional service. There's 9 processes of bhakti, and that is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dashyam, Atmanivedanam, Dashyam, Sakyam, Atmanivedanam. So these 9 processes, right? Shravanam, basically hearing, is actually emulated by Maharaj Parikshit. Kirtanam is actually emulated by Sukadev Goswami, because he listened to the Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days and 7 nights without eating, sleeping, or drinking, anything. So, Smaranam by Prahlad Maharaj, always remembering the Lord, right? He was put into so many difficulties, and he always remembered the Lord in all those circumstances. Padasevanam, this is Lakshmi Devi, she worships the lotus feet of the Lord, like that. And Archanam, so we can also worship the lotus feet of the Lord. How? Well, you may say, I'm not Brahman initiated, and I cannot worship the Lord on the altar. But just by attending Arati, we get the same benefit as the person doing the Arati, like this. So Archana means worship, right? Doing Arati. And Vandanam, so this is offering praise, and that's emulated by Akrura, right? Offering praise. So we can also, when we chant, we can offer our praise to Krishna like this, so we can be more focused in our chanting. Oh my Lord, my mind is wandering here and there. Please allow me to focus, right? And we should actually try to focus. And if it deviates, it goes here and there, we should try to pull our mind back and hearing the sound vibration of the holy names. Like Dashyam is a servitor, and that's emulated by Hanuman. Sakyam, Arjuna, is a friend of Krishna, and Atma Nivedanam, Bali Maharaj. Right? So basically, we can engage in all these processes of bhakti, right? By rising early and doing all of these things, and throughout the day as well. So we can understand, we can learn from Krishna, who's setting the example, right, to rise early and Brahma Muhurta. At that time, the atmosphere is very pure, it's very clean, right? And everybody else, materialists, are sleeping. It's only the devotees that get up so early in the morning, and the ether is clean, so we can chant our rounds. And you'll find that when you chant your rounds early in the morning, your rounds go fast as well. Right? Because you're quite focused early in the morning. There's no disturbances. And then during, as the time wears on, then you'll get to some distractions like the vehicles on the road and, and all of that. So, but early in the morning, everything is very pure. Right? The atmosphere is very pure, like this. So we go on to the next paragraph. Krishna's existence is not relative existence. Everything else but Krishna is relative truth. But Krishna is a supreme absolute truth. Krishna does not depend on anything but himself for existence. Our existence, however, is relative. For example, only when there is the light of the sun, moon, or electricity are we able to see. Our seeing, therefore, is relative, and the light of the sun and moon and electricity is also relative. They are called illuminating only because we can see them as such. But dependence on relativity does not exist in Krishna. His activities are not dependent on anyone else's appreciation, nor does he depend on anyone else's help. He is beyond the existence of limited time and space, and because he is transcendental to time and space, he cannot be covered by illusion or maya, whose activities are limited. He is the source of the material energy, right? Devi isa gunamai, mama maya durachaya, mam eva prapajante, mayam etam tarantite. That this divine energy of mine, consisting of the three modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So basically, we have to surrender unto Krishna to overcome this material energy, because this material energy is basically bombarding us at every step, right? Sometimes the mode of passion becomes dominant, and they're fighting for supremacy. So sometimes the mode of ignorance, and sometimes the mode of goodness. So basically, they're always competing like this. So how to remain aloof of this? By engaging in devotional service, especially hearing and chanting the Supreme Lord. Right? So in the Vedic literature, we find that the Supreme Personality Godhead has multipotencies. Since all such potencies are emanations from him, there is no difference between him and his potencies. Certain philosophers say, however, that when Krishna comes, he accepts a material body. But even if it is accepted that when he comes to this material world, he accepts a material body, it should be concluded that because the material energy is non-different, his body does not act materially. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, therefore, that he appears by his own internal potency, Atma Mayaya. Krishna is called the Supreme Brahman because he is the cause of creation. Shri Radharanath ki jai, Shri Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande. Yeah, so he is the cause of maintenance, the cause of dissolution, right, and the cause of creation. Lord Brahma, Lord Vishnu, and Lord Shiva are different qualities, can act upon the conditioned souls, but there is no such action and reaction upon Krishna because these qualities are all simultaneously one with and different from him. Krishna himself is simply Sachidananda Vigraha, the eternal form of bliss and knowledge, and because of his inconceivable greatness, he is called the Supreme Brahman. His meditation on Brahman, or Paramatma, or Bhagavan, is on himself only and not on anything else beyond himself. This meditation cannot be imitated by the ordinary living being. So, basically, we have to meditate on Krishna, and by chanting his holy names, right? And this basically stated in the Shikshastikam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadevagni Nivrapanam, Shreya Kareva Chandrika Vitarnam, Vidyavadu Jivanam, Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. Right? So basically, it's being stated that Cheto Dharpana Marjanam. Cheto Dharpana Marjanam means to cleanse the heart. Right? Cheto means heart. Dharpana, the mirror of the heart. And Marjanam means to clean. So, we can clean the floors, we can clean the windows like this by soap and water. But to clean the heart, not use soap and water, right? To clean the heart, right? Listen to this. During COVID, they were coming up with different ideas how to get rid of COVID. And some people drank chick. Some people drank bleach, So I thought this was like so crazy, And this was actually orchestrated by spiritual persons, like some Christian priest, basically, that in order to get rid of COVID, one needs to drink bleach, right? And people drank bleach and they actually died like this. So this just came to mind. Sorry about it. Yeah, so, sorry. So yes, so to cleanse the heart, we cannot drink bleach, right? So the best way is to chant the holy names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So that is the cleansing process, right? And the mirror of the heart will be actually cleaned by this chanting process. Cheto Dharpana Marjanam, Mahadevagni Nirvapanam. So this Maha means great, right? Dev Agni means fire. the great fire of material conditional life, basically. So this great fire of conditional life will be extinguished by this chanting process. And we know we're living in the material world, and and we are bombarded by so many things, right? Conditional life, it actually bombards us. So basically, just by this chanting, the only solace we get is by this chanting process. Chanting, and the time that we sit down and chant is the most peaceful time in the entire day. Right? Am I right or wrong? Yes, it's the most peaceful time because you are in connection with Krishna and his holy names. Krishna is his holy names, right? So you are in connection with Krishna. You basically, this is a linking process that links us up to Krishna. Right? Yoga, bhakti yoga. Yoga means linking. So in this way, we are linked to Krishna by the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. So Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam means it increases our bliss. Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. It increases our bliss as well. So, the chanting of Hare Krishna, especially when you chant in Kirtan, all of us together, we feel so happy. And actually, we forget all our material problems. So we are in that, at least for that moment, we are in total bliss, right? So let's just go on. After his meditation, the Lord would regularly bathe early in the morning with clear, sanctified water, and he would change into fresh clothing, cover himself with a wrapper, and engage his daily religious functions. Out of his religious duties, the first was to offer oblations in the sacrificial fire and silently chant the Gayatri mantra. Lord Krishna, as an ideal householder, executed all the religious functions of a householder without deviation. When the sunrise became visible, the Lord would offer specific prayers to the sun god, and the sun god and other demigods mentioned in the Vedic scriptures are described as different limbs of the Lord, body of the Lord, and it is the duty of the householder to offer respects to the demigods and great sages as well as the forefathers. So yes, devotees, we should offer our respects to the spiritual master, to the devotees, to, all living entities basically, right? All living, even the ant, you should offer our respects to, because we do not kill any living entities, right? So in this way, Krishna did like this. He would get up early and he would perform different rituals like this. And firstly, he would meditate, and then he would perform these different rituals, right? So it is said in the Bhagavad Gita that the Lord has no specific duty to perform in this world, and yet he acts like an ordinary man, living an ideal life within the material world in accordance with the Vedic ritualistic principles. The Lord would offer respects to the demigods. The regulative principles by which the demigods and forefathers are worshipped is called tarpana, which means pleasing. One's forefathers may have to take a body on another planet, but by some performance of this Tarapana system, they become very happy wherever they may be. Oh yes. So devotees, we don't do ancestral worship, right? But we offer our food every day. So basically in Hinduism, you offer foodstuffs to the Lord. One specific month is delegated for that, and that's called Pitarpak, right? And your ancestors from whichever sinful body they may be, they would actually get some relief from that. And but we offer our food every day to Krishna, right? And in this way, we are doing this every day. And therefore, in the Vedic literatures, it is described that if one becomes a devotee, he can liberate so many generations, 7 generations, 21 generations, some say 7, some say 21, right, generations of his forefathers, and even those from the past and the future, basically. So one actually liberates all their ancestors and those to come also. So in this way, we should try to be pure devotees. We should try, right? We are not pure devotees, but we are in the process of trying. So in this way, we can, help all humanity, our ancestors, everybody actually, every living entity, just by us becoming devotees of the Lord, right? So, and Krishna did like this. He would offer his obeisances to his family members. It is the duty of the householder to make his family members happy. And by following this Tarapana system, he can make his forefathers happy also. As a perfect exemplary householder, Lord Krishna followed this Tarapana system and offered respectful obeisances to the elderly, superior members of his family. Right? So, Krishna, he appeared in the Yadu dynasty, and he would offer his respects to his grandfather, like that, Ugrasena, like that. He would offer his respectful obeisances. So, and it is very auspicious if we have old people living with us, like our forefathers and our grandparents especially. We can take advantage of this and offer our respects to them. Nowadays, actually, old people are not respected, and they are seen as a burden in society, wherein, old age homes are created and they are put in the old age homes. But, to have your grandfather, your grandmother living with you is actually a blessing. And by you taking care of them also is such a great blessing on you. So in this way, we should learn from Krishna, Right, so how much time do I have? Okay, just read a little more. His next duty was to give cows in charity to the Brahmanas. Every day, the Lord used to give many groups of 13,084 cows. Each of the cows were decorated with silken cover and pearl necklace. Their horns were decorated with gold plating, and their hooves were silver plated. So you can see how opulent Krishna was, right? That he just didn't wear gold for himself, but his cows also got hoof-plated and, horn-plated golds and silver like this. So all of them were full of milk due to having their firstborn cows with them. And they were very tame and peaceful. When the cows were given in charity to the Brahmanas also were given nice silken garments. This reminds me, just on New Year's Day, we went to the Goshala, which is not far from here. It's just in Unit 5. And I didn't know about this, and it was a devotee that actually took us there. And they have two Brahman cows, one cow and one calf. And, we fed the cows and like this. And, just to have the association of Gomata, stroking her and feeding her, and it gives you a sense of peacefulness as well. And just by being in the association, all your problems go away like this. So yeah, if you get a chance, you can go there to the Goshala in Unit 5. It's very, very nice. But please take some vegetables and go, like carrots, especially carrots, apples, like that, to feed the cows. Yeah? So, then, we see. When the cows were given in charity to the Brahmanas were also given nice silken garments, and each was given a deerskin and sufficient quantity of sesame seeds. The Lord is generally known as Go Brahmana Hitaicha, which means that his first duty is to see to the welfare of the cows and the Brahmins. Thus, he used to give the cows in charity to the Brahmanas with opulent decorations and paraphernalia, then wishing for the welfare of all living entities, he would touch such auspicious articles such as milk, honey, ghee, clarified butter, gold, jewels, and fire, although the Lord is by nature very beautiful due to the perfect figure of his transcendental body. He would dress himself in yellow garments and put on the necklace of Kaustubha jewels, and he would wear flower garlands, smear his body with pulp of sandalwood, and decorate himself with similar cosmetic and ornaments. Yes, so basically, my Guru Maharaj gives this nice talks every Fridays, right? And he basically goes into detail of Krishna, what Krishna wears, and the sense that he wears on his body, and that emanates from Krishna's body actually. And there's one special scent called aguru, right? And then we have the musk, and we have as it's being described as sandalwood, like this. So we worship the deity in the morning with these paraphernalias, like the sandalwood especially. Now that it's hot, right? We have Chandan Yatra sometimes, where we smear the Lord with his whole body with Chandan, like that, right? So, So after decorating himself in this way, the Lord would then look to marble statues of the cows and calves and visit temples of the demigods like Lord Shiva. But there were many Brahmanas who would come daily to see the Supreme Lord before taking their breakfast. They were anxious to see him, and he welcomed them. So, the Brahmanas would come and they would basically take darshan of the Lord like this. So because of time, I'm not going to read the whole thing. I will just touch on each paragraph and explain. So, so we are reading previously, that Krishna's form is basically, this verse in the Brahma Samhita describes that Angani Yasya Sakale Indriya Vrittimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti. Right? So basically his form is, I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, whose form is full of bliss, truth, and substantiality. And, his figure, his transcendental figure, possesses in himself the fully fledged organs. Basically it means that his body, he can do any function with any of his limbs or any of his organs, right? Like Prabhupada was giving a lecture in Los Angeles in 1968, and he says that Krishna can see through his fingers. Can we do that? No. Krishna can see through his fingers. He can eat through his eyes, and he can smell through his feet, right? Just like in the Bible it says that let there be, when the Lord was creating, he said, let there be light, and the light appeared. So just by the will of the Lord, things manifest like that. So, so we don't have the potency to do all of these, right? So because we only have one sense for one particular function. So, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. So, basically, the next thing that happened was Krishna, after seeing the Brahmanas, then he would travel to he would see the Brahmanas, and then he would fulfill the desires of all the citizens, right? And in this way, they would basically offer him some gifts, and he would fulfill their desires. So there was a reciprocation with Krishna and whoever came to meet him like this. And Yeah, so accompanied by his ministers like Satyaki and Uddhava, he would ascend on the chariot, driven by Daruka, his charioteer, and and he was basically about to go now, right? And his queens would look at him, with intense feelings of separation, and like, we're not going to see Krishna, he's going to go away, and we cannot have his association. So then Krishna, he would glance at them with a beautiful smile and try to pacify them in that way. And then he would, ascend the chariot, and he would be driven off to the Sudharma hall. And the Sudharma hall, it is explained that when one entered the Sudharma hall, right, he would be relieved of the pangs of material nature, right, such as lamentation, illusion, thirst, hunger, old age, and death. So this was the potency of the Sudharma hall, right, because it's not an ordinary hall, it's basically descended from the heavenly planets, right? And, how nice to have a hall like that, huh? We all could go to. We'll never come out of there, right? We'll remain there eternally, because there's no death in old age, right? Like that. So then he would take a seat on the royal throne amidst the Yadus, and he looked effulgent, like a dazzling full moon surrounded by many luminaries, right? So this is described in the Krishna book like this, that how Krishna, he looked so effulgent just by sitting on the throne and, everyone around him. And then there were jokers, musicians, dancers, reciters, who would do their specific duties. Just to lighten the mood, the jokers would tell some jokes, and in this way, get Krishna to laugh, smile, like that. So then the musicians would play the different musical instruments, and the reciters would recite different prayers to the Lord, like this. So in this way, they all, gave the Supreme Lord pleasure by doing this. And then I was reading the 10th canto, right, and where Prabhupada says that there were ballet dancers, right, that would dance for the pleasure of the Lord. So we can take it like that from the Bhagavatam, like that they were ballet dancers, right? But yes, there would be dancers, and sometimes maybe classical dancers, that would dance according to they may do Bharatanatyam or Kathak or something like that to give pleasure to the Lord, right? And then, as he was sitting there, then his guards someone came to see Krishna, and they allowed him in. And this person was a messenger from all the kings that were imprisoned by Jarasandha, right? And because they were imprisoned, they couldn't come out, so they sent a messenger to see Lord Krishna. And this messenger approached Krishna, and he basically, he relayed the message of the kings to him. And the kings, they offered beautiful prayers to the Lord. And they said, "My dear Lord, you have defeated Jarasandha 17 times. And on the 18th occasion, you just acted like an ordinary human being, and you let him get the better of you. In that, you basically, you became ranchor. You just ran away from the battlefield, and in this way, he called you a coward. He called you ranchor. You're like that. So these are all your transcendental activities and your pastimes. So, my dear Lord, how is it that we are your devotees and we have been imprisoned, and Jarasandha, being such an impious man, and basically killing the innocent people, and also imprisoning us, your devotees? How is this? We cannot figure this out. It may be because of our past misdeeds, I think. That is why we were imprisoned like this. But, then again, you say that, if one surrenders unto you, all the sinful reactions will be taken away. So, what is this, And so they're offering this different prayers. Yes, when one surrenders unto Krishna, he removes all his sinful reactions. But then again, he keeps some, as token. And whenever the need be, he gives it to you, so that you may get a wake-up call and become more sincere in your chanting, in your devotional service like this. So from time to time, devotees, we also go through that, right? Where, we get a wake-up call from Krishna, and we need to actually become more sincere in our activities in Krishna consciousness. So they're basically offering these prayers to the Lord. And then Narad Muni appears thereafter. When they finish with all their prayers, Narad Muni appears, and the Lord turns his attention to Narada. And Narada, he's a Brahmana, so Krishna worships him, washes his feet, gives him a nice sitting place, and then he asks him, right, Narada, you tell me now, what's your mission? Why have you come here? And although the Lord knows everything, but still, he asked. And Narad Muni tells him that, I came here on behalf of Yudhisthira Maharaj. Yudhisthira, he wants to perform a great Rajasuya sacrifice. And, he wants you to be the the guest of honor, basically. So he wants to offer you all the praise and worship. So, my dear Lord, please adhere to this, and please, come to Hastinapur in this way. You will receive everything. And then, like Krishna, he consulted with Uddhava, because Uddhava was his minister. And says, like, Uddhava, what do you think of this? Shall I go? Right? So, you see that the Lord, he uses his devotees, right, as a minister, as different aspects. Although he can take his decision independently, but in that situation now, he asks Uddhava, what do you think, Uddhava? Must I go? And then Uddhava said, yes, my dear Lord, you should go and receive worship from Yudhisthira. They are such great devotees, the Pandavas are such great devotees, and you should give them that privilege of honoring you. So in this way. And then he said, you can basically like kill two birds with one stone, although we don't do killing, but perform 2 acts at one time. In that, in order to do the Rajasuya sacrifice, you have to get rid of Jarasandha, right? And free all those kings. So in this way, you can do both things and go to Hastinapur and receive worship. So that's the end of the chapter 17. Right, so it'll be continued, chapter 71. I'm not sure who's giving class next week, so stay tuned, right, for chapter 71. So if any of you have any questions or comments, you're most welcome to do so now. Yes, Shri Prabhu.
It's interesting, Krishna shows by this that in each palace, they're only thinking about what's going on there, because we think of God in the spiritual world is there's one place God is, and all the people must be far away. The Jewish philosopher Moses Maimonides said that God can't be a person because a person can't be in several places at the same time, because that's the law of contradiction. But God is not subject to that. So he's showing there that even though he's vast and has millions of devotees, he manifests himself in each place where the people in that place have a special personal relationship with him, and in another form he's doing something completely different. Jiva Goswami writes about this in his Gopal Champu, that there's millions of Mother Yasodas, and and different cowherd boys. And Krishna expands in the spiritual world to be with each of them in a very small relative position. And Krishna is showing here, Christian philosophers think God can only be masculine and God has to be absolute. He can't be relative. But Krishna is showing by the pastimes that he can be absolute and relative at the same time. He can care about the people close to him, and he lets them almost forget that he's God. That's why I appreciate it when people here just want to be my friend. They come, it's not like I'm some great devotee. I just came to do some service. So when people Krishna even appreciates that. So we have to remember that to others. Rather than glorifying the people, we need to be able to be there for them and do something positive, like Krishna's example. He's not showing, hey, I'm God. He washes Narada Muni's feet and he takes care of each of the people. We have to learn to be like that with our equals, our inferiors, superiors.
Thank you. And I was just remembering, last week you gave class, right? And you were speaking about Krishna's inconceivable potencies and how in each palace, Narada went to each palace and he was seeing Krishna doing a different activity in each of these palaces. In one palace he was worshipping the Brahmanas. In another palace, he was playing with his children. In another palace he was doing his rituals. So like this, doing different things in different palaces like that. So yes. Thank you so much for that, Shri Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
We have to get ready for the program.
Antara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Go Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.